Welcome to the 2019 Biloxi Sports Hall of Fame Banquet and Induction Ceremony.
Let's thank our Parks and Recreation Department for their fine work and the Biloxi Police Auxiliary for their help tonight for dinner. Here we are to honor 13 new members of the Biloxi Sports Hall of Fame and their accomplishments and what they've provided to the city of Biloxi, both in their careers and after their careers. We'll shortly invite each one of them to come up and accept their award. And because we have so many this year, we've asked them to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. But we all understand that they're trying to cram a lot of information into a short period of time. If somebody goes too long, Sherry's going to tackle them. At this point, it's my honor to welcome to the microphone Mayor Fofo Gillich.
Thank you, Cliff, and I would ask again to let's thank the folks who put this. It just doesn't happen. Everybody on these committees and Sherry and the police department, everybody prepared this wonderful meal. I want to welcome everyone from the east and the west and the north. We don't have a lot of visitors from the south, but it's a great honor to honor these folks. Sports has been pretty much the fabric of Biloxi going back a long ways. I've seen some coaches and some players and some boxers, and so it's a tremendous honor for us to do this. And we welcome their families who have supported them over the years, and of course our Biloxi special because of these kinds of people who have been part of our heritage.
Our first honoree tonight is the late George Creel, an outstanding amateur boxer and coach who was a co-founder of the Biloxi Boxing Club. Accepting on behalf of George Creel is Randall Broussard.
And they're filming up top too. And then he's filming up top.
All right, bring this down, y'all too tall. Family would like to start by thanking the Hall of Fame Induction Committee for recognizing Mr. George for his boxing accomplishments. He lived his life and enjoyed it to the fullest. Besides his wife and children, boxing was his life. He was a successful boxer in the late 40s and early 50s with the boxing team known as the Galloping Gales and the St. Michael's Scrappers, as the media called them in one of the articles I read. But he was more than just a boxer here in Biloxi. He was also known for all of his dedication and time spent with the Biloxi Boxing Club, where he was co-founder. He and a few of his old boxing friends decided to form the club in November 1969, where he wore many caps such as president, manager, coach, etc. You could say he raised a family of seven children, but his family was much larger, with all the boys he managed and coached throughout his career with the club. I mean, what can you say? He had 6 daughters at home. He was the tournament chairman in 1973 and director in 75 of the Gulf States Boxing Championship Tournament. He was heavily involved in the Region 5 Golden Glove Tournament every year that it was held here. He was also instrumental in bringing in the 1973 Junior Olympic Championship to Nichols. I think we had one here, Wayne Copswat, that fought in that one. And in 1977, the Senior AAU National Championship to the Coast Coliseum, which was one of the first major events brought to the Coliseum. And in 83, the U.S. versus Ireland match, which also was held at the Coast Coliseum. As you can see, he was Biloxi's boxing. I'd also like to thank my mother-in-law, Miss Laura Ann Creel, for giving me the honor of accepting this award for the family. Thank you.
Our second honoree, former Biloxi High football star, Anthony "The Thrill" Hill.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming out. First and foremost, I would like to give all the glory and thanks to God and my Lord Jesus Christ. I would like to thank my mother, Bobby Hill, and my father, Arnell Hill, who is resting in heaven, for their unconditional love and support of all my dreams and endeavors in life. I'd like to thank my aunt and my uncle, Ethel and Roscoe Murray, my uncle Leon and Janelle Britton, my cousin Sam and Shannon Murray, also Lanita and Carlos Patton. Thanks to my wife, Yolanda Hill, my daughters, Tiffany, Jamela, and Brittany, and my son, Kobe, and my grandchildren for the love and support. I would like to give a special acknowledgement and thanks to my big brother, we call him Bobby, his name is Robert Hill, for inspiring me to play football and teaching me all the skills that I needed to excel in the sport that I loved since I was 6 years old. That's it. There he is in the back there. And also a 2016 inductee himself for the Biloxi Hall of Fame. I was told long ago that the race is not given to the quick, nor the battle to the strong, nor yet favor to men of skill. But time and chance happens to us all. It's a promise to us that everyone will have the opportunity to win at something in life as long as you are willing to continue to thrive and compete. I found in life that there are a couple of things that have worked for me and given me favor over time, and that is inspiration and coaching. For I would like to say thanks to a few people who have inspired me and a few who have coached me to be the best that I could be as an athlete. First, Mel Matthews and Thomas Ruffin from North Central Pee Wee League, Coach Ratliff and Nichols Junior High, at Nichols Junior High, who taught me the difference between being injured and being hurt while playing football. He said, if you're injured, we'll come out here and get you. But if you're hurt, you're holding up the game. To Coach Joe Sabatini, who believed in me and my abilities to play with the big boy seniors, as we used to call them, when I was just a sophomore. This gave me the confidence and the confirmation that I chose the right sport to focus on between baseball and football. To Coach Emmanuel Killingsworth, who took the coaching baton and showed me how to perfect my craft. And he was also the person that inspired me on the football field to be who I was. And he said, if you look good, you play good. So thus came out the multiple wristbands and the towel I used to wear. But last but not least, I would like to thank my brother Lorenzo and all my lifelong friends who traveled to celebrate with me on this special occasion. Anthony Anderson, who we call Slep, Kenny and Sheila Campbell, Carl and Beverly, my road dog, D. Brown, he know who he is, my Phi Alpha Beta brothers, Carnell Travis and Frank Bridges, my homegirl for life, she knows who she is, Tammy Carney. My big brothers from Biloxi community, Jerry Williams and E.J. Bell, they kind of adopted me, trying to keep me, focused. But, and I'd like to thank the Sports Hall of Fame Committee and the city of Biloxi. East Biloxi, stand up.
I think it was a foregone conclusion when he was playing football, the day he got the nickname Thrill, that he was going to end up here tonight. Congratulations. And I'm glad you mentioned Jerry Williams, by the way. I got to say hello to him tonight. I've known him and his family a long time, a great guy. One of the things that makes Biloxi unique, of course, is our diversity. And it's something that we appreciate and celebrate. And you see it each year when we have these awards. I'd have to note tonight, though, that this was one of the few times we haven't had a female inductee. So on your tables, you're going to see nominating forms for next year. So please keep that in mind as we look forward to next year's ceremony. And now we're honored to induct a longtime volunteer, and driving force in Biloxi girls softball, the late Alan Marsland. Accepting on his behalf is David Marsland.
First, I'd like to thank everyone that's here that made this event possible, make this award possible for my dad, especially Mr. Tom Stanley. This doesn't happen without you. It's such an honor for me to accept this award on my dad's behalf. I really believe that he's deserving of this honor. He spent most of his adult life coaching kids. It was his passion. He wanted every kid to have everything they could possibly have, whether it was a glove, uniform, everything. If he had to pay for it out of his pocket, he did, but he wanted everybody to be the same on the ball field. He didn't want any kid to go without anything, whether it was a ride or whatever. He always took care of every kid that he coached. Boys, back when I played, and to the girls, the Overdrive, which that just exploded and turned into a huge organization. He coached me and my brother when we were kids, taking us everywhere. Y'all probably see some of the vans that he would paint and have whatever team he was coaching. He'd take the entire team everywhere with him, and that was just something that he was going to do regardless. And then he kind of brought that in with the Overdrive, which turned out to just be an unbelievable organization. Helped so many of the girls softball players move on. My dad was a big part of that, and very, very, very proud to be able to stand up here and accept this award on his behalf. Thank you very much.
Please join me now in congratulating and welcoming into the 2019 Biloxi Sports Hall of Fame legendary Biloxi High basketball and track standout, Chris McGee.
Wow, it's a great honor tonight. Before I get started, I didn't know I had 3 minutes, so I wrote a long, long speech, so I'm gonna have to revise this. So forgive me if I leave some people out. But first, I want to thank the good Lord for allowing me to be here and giving me the ability that I've had over the years. Second, I want to thank all of my mentors, and I'll mention some of them. Without my mentors, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. And this goes beyond sports. But the biggest thing that I will say is, for me, this is truly a blessing. But I want to thank the city of Biloxi and the committee, and I also want to congratulate the rest of the inductees for tonight. Over the years, this is ironic that I'm here where I started my football career. This very school, this very spot is where I went to school, at Central Elementary School. I played Pee Wee football in the back here with Coach Freisen, and this is where it started, and I was 10 years old. I look around the room and I see a lot of faces that I can remember. I want to thank all the coaches that I had, from Pee Wee football all the way up to Jim Comedy in college. But one coach that I always admired what he did. A lot of people asked us, how did you play for Coach Laird? I said it was very easy to play for Coach Laird, but Coach Laird wasn't a basketball coach. Coach Laird was a father for a lot of guys who didn't have a father. Because before you brought your report card home, you took him to Coach Laird's office. If you didn't come to school, you didn't call people to county like everyone else. You called Coach Laird and let him know why you didn't come to school. I also had other great mentors, Kenny Farley and Darlene Farley. I met Kenny when I was 14 years old. I played Little League baseball down in Rosanna Park. We called it Rose Street at the time. When I turned 13, before that, Pony League was always at Lee Street. They moved Pony League to West Biloxi. At that time, cars wasn't a premium. We had one vehicle, and my dad used it to go to work. So I couldn't get a ride down there to play. So I started playing softball. And I met Kenny Farley. Anybody know Kenny Farley know that he's going to take you to Church's Chicken, get you 2,000 a leg. You know you're going to get that. So Kenny Farley was also coaching Pee Wee football. He coached Pee Wee basketball. Me being with Kenny Farley, I was coaching Pee Wee football, Pee Wee basketball. He works for the city doing the maintenance department. I know Darlene got tired of me sleeping on their couch, getting there early in the morning because Kenny was going to take me to Krispy Kreme. When the light come on, we were going to stop and get those donuts. So I want to truly thank Kenny. Kenny has been an inspiration for me, been a mentor. I also have two very good friends here. My previous boss, I worked at the University of Southern Miss for 25 and a half years. And I have both of my boss, Sid Gonsolin and Mike Giles. They was my mentor professionally. I asked Roger Smith, we were talking about, he said, I'm going in as an athlete, he's going in as an umpire. I said, well, I could have did both. Roger started laughing and said, yeah, because you are my boss in softball. But Sid allowed me to reach my goal in the official arena. I've done everything from Division I college softball. I even call international ball. I've done several junior college World Series, all in the sport of softball. All with thanks of Sid Gonsolin and Mike Giles. I thank you for that. But I want to thank my family. This award doesn't go to me, it goes to my family. Because with their backing me, believing in me, I was allowed to do a lot of things that I was capable of. My father, I don't ever remember throwing a football, a baseball, or anything with my father. He wasn't that type of man. My dad believed in work. Cut the grass, get this cement out. Because of him, I got 2 educations because I wasn't pouring no concrete. But one thing I can say, he took my mom all around this country to watch me play, and I commend him for that. He never worked hardly in Biloxi. He always worked on the road. I can remember my last college football game. This is just an example. He was working in Houston, Texas. He would leave, he'd get off work, after working 10 hours, go home, pack, come here. He would drive all the way to Biloxi. We was playing at Southwestern Louisiana, over in Lafayette. He would pass Lafayette, come to Biloxi, pick my mom up, drive her to the ball game. And after the ball game, he would drive her back and get up Sunday morning and go back to Houston to go to work. That's the dedication he had for my mom and for me. Also, without her, that's my number one fan, was my mom, Lord rest her soul. That was my number one fan. Without her pushing me and allowing me to do things, I couldn't be where I am. And the last thing I want to thank is my beautiful wife. Where she at? Lillian, I want you to stand up. For 27 years, I've been married to that young lady. I thought I was never going to be married. Everybody knows, all y'all grew up with me know I was never going to be married. But for 27 years, I've been married to that young lady, and it's been the most experience that I will ever forget. She allowed me to do everything that I wanted to do, and she raised those. Y'all boys stand up. I have 2 sons. They're here tonight. I'm going to sit down. She raised them while she allowed me to go out and umpire, play softball all across this country and do the things that I wanted to do. And I give all my love and credit to you, baby. Also, thank you.
Next, please join me in welcoming into the Hall of Fame former Biloxi High basketball, All-State, and honorable mention All-American, Bobo McNair.
I'm a little nervous this evening. I'm not nervous because I didn't have a speech. I'm nervous because I went to the Shuckers game last night and I sat right above Miss Sherry Bell and she kept turning around saying, "Bobo, you got 3 minutes." I said, "Yes, Sherry." And before I left, she said, "Bobo, remember, you have 3 minutes." So just wanted to say thank you to the nominating committee for allowing me to be inducted to the 2019 Sports Hall of Fame. Man, if I went back and had to think about all the people that had something to do with, I guess, my success over the years, it would probably fill up this room. So more than anything, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that helped guide me and mentor me along the way. But more than anything, I want to make sure that I recognize my family and friends who've come as far away as Indiana, Illinois to be here today. That was such a blessing for me. Would you guys please stand for me? And last but not least, Chris just stopped me and he said, "Bobo, I'm sorry, I took a little bit of your thunder away from you by mentioning Jackie Laird." But I wanted to say thank you to my coach, Coach Jackie Laird, because one of the things that I learned over 4 years of basketball tutelage under him was that basketball was about the game of life. And I thought about that over the years, and I said, "You know what, Coach? You're absolutely right. It was about, and it is about the game of life. There are going to be some turnovers. There are going to be some bad passes. There's going to be a lot of things that don't go your way. But if you're going to win, you have to be persistent and patient and be in it for the long haul." And so, Coach, all of those nights riding home with you, I sit back and think about it. I used to get in your car and before you bring me home, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I hope he doesn't have too much to say tonight." But you know, the great thing about it, he was like a father figure to me, and I appreciate everything he's done over the years. Darren, Brandon, Miss Laird, I apologize for taking up so much of his time, but again, I appreciated everything he provided for me over the years. And Coach, I just want to say to you, thank you, because I am where I am today, not only because of the love and support of my family, but because of your belief in me. Thank you very much.
Switching from Biloxi High, if we can, for just a moment. Our next inductee went to Notre Dame High School. We're here to honor, with the rest of our inductees, outstanding baseball pitcher and Major League draftee, the late Byron Mayo. Accepting for Byron is his daughter, Jennifer Mayo Adams. Mayo. Okay, find out who it is.
Okay. Thank you. My family and I are honored to accept this award on behalf of my dad. Sorry. If he were here now, I'm not exactly sure what he would say. What I do know is he would be humbled. Humbled that the city he grew up in was acknowledging him simply for playing a game that he loved. However, it was not just a game he was passionate about, but a game that built who he was as a person. Baseball is a sport that teaches confidence, team building, respect, leadership, and a strong work ethic. All of these characteristics can be taught, but it's what you choose to do with it when you leave the field. Old teammates and friends have described him as, and I quote, "one heck of a teammate, one of the best ball players I knew, a hard worker, a confident lefty that I could never hit off of, a great businessman, a wonderful friend." So I think it's apparent what he chose to do with it when he left the Diamond. I wish he could have been here to thank you personally, but this allowed me to brag on him for a moment and express how proud I am of the athlete, husband, son, brother, pawpaw, friend, and father that he was. Thank you.
Sticking with outstanding baseball pitchers, our next inductee, former Biloxi High and college All-Star, Charlie Nobles.
Well, they said I have 3 minutes, but I want you all to know that I took a public speaking class in school, and I didn't do very well. So, and y'all going to know why in about 3 minutes. I want to thank the committee for deeming me worthy enough to be a member of this group. I thank all y'all for coming out to support us. You know, we go through life and we are touched by some very important people. And there's one here tonight, and Coach Ronnie Ferris, if you'd stand up, please. Coach Ferris came to Biloxi High when I was a junior. I think it was his very first coaching job, and he brought us in and he made a bunch of young boys into a bunch of young men. And we won the state title for him that year. And Coach, appreciate you. There's someone else I'd like to acknowledge tonight that's not here. Carol Rayleigh. We all knew him as Butch. He nominated me this year, and unfortunately he left us not very long ago. I love Butch. He was a great guy, great ball player. Caught many of the games that I pitched in, and I know he wished he would be here, and it's kind of a bittersweet moment for me. I like to tell a story. I don't know if Randall Patterson here. I don't think he's here. If he's in the room, you usually know it. Anyway, he told me to tell a story, and I promised him I would. That when we were freshmen at Gulf Coast, it was Perkinston Junior College then. He and I and Harold Sablich and one other guy, and I can't remember who it was, but we all stayed in the same dorm room together and had 2 bunk beds in there. Well, there was a hazing tradition at Perkinston. The sophomores would come in. They had a master key to all the dorm rooms. They'd come in and mess up everybody's room. And we'd only been there about 2 weeks, and I guess we weren't very tidy in our room because the guys came in, they opened the door, and they come running in, and they said, "Oh, somebody's already been here." So I guess that wasn't a very good reflection on us. But anyway, we won 2 state titles at Gulf Coast, so I guess we did okay. Thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it. I'm honored. That's about all I can say. Thank you all very much.
You know, life sometimes interrupts the sports careers of outstanding athletes. And that was the case for our next inductee, who was a standout player at Biloxi High, but whose college career was delayed by service to his country in the U.S. Coast Guard late in World War II. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next inductee, Mr. Lou Patallo.
All these people talking about remembering. I don't know what they're talking about. If I tell you my coach's name in high school, you're not going to remember. But you're not going to know him in the first place. But there were 2 great coaches, and they both were from LSU. And one was Coach Gordon, one was Coach Brown. But anyway, I want to thank everybody involved in this beautiful induction, especially Mayor. I'm going to repeat myself many times, excuse me. Mayor Fofo and Cheryl Bell. It's just been a beautiful night, and I hope it stays a beautiful night. And everybody keeps talking about forgetting, you know. I don't forget all the time, just most of the time. And my brother-in-law always accuses me of being growing up when I was a kid. I went to school with Moses. Now, damn, that's getting old, but he forgot to tell you that he and I went to school together. But anyway, we went to Biloxi High School, 1941 or 2, whatever it was, but I graduated in 43. At that time, of course, we had World War, and I used to tease everybody, I went World War III, but it wasn't World War III, it was World War II. And I went to the Coast Guard, and of course the Coast Guard took over, the Navy took the Coast Guard over, so our ship was over about 300 feet. And we had 24 landing boats on it, so we was a big part of it in the Pacific. We've been all over the Pacific. So let me get my notes out. Maybe I can remember some of this stuff. I'm not going to do any good because I can't see. But after we got out of the Navy, you think I'm joking, but anyway. After Navy, we went right into the Coast Guard. In the Coast Guard, I went messing around here and there in the state. I'm a disciplined person, and I believe in discipline, and I learned a lot of discipline. But before I got into the Coast Guard, first Biloxi, what I learned in Biloxi followed me all over the world. I never forgot Biloxi. I came back. Must be something good about Biloxi. I live in Ocean Springs, so. And whatever I knew and did what I did in football, it all comes back to Biloxi. It's where you learn. Okay, when I get back, we go to Perkinston Junior College. We were, in 46, I played football with my brother Johnny. We were the 2 slowest guys on the team. We had no speed at all. After that year, I went back and I got on a boat and went shrimping and oystering with Daddy. So I said, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going back to school. So I went back to Perk in 1948. We were the state champions at Perkinson Junior College. Also, we were the national champion on this side of the Rockies. Got my age. Now look, when I played, I don't want to say the age, but we didn't have those helmets you're talking about, Red Grange. No. We had the regular helmet, just like all the rest of them have 9. And we had face masks. Nobody had a face mask. You just got your face crushed all the time. And I want to congratulate all the people here taking care of this beautiful ceremony. And number 2, I want to celebrate my wife. No, I want to thank my wife being here, taking care of me for 4 years already. I can't walk because it's set into arthritis. And then after, I'm not finished, hold on. And,
If you ever get a chance to see the 1943 graduation picture of Biloxi High, it must have had 300 people in it. He was right in the center in his Coast Guard uniform. Everybody else was in cap and gown, and he was in his Coast Guard uniform. Nobody else can talk.
That's the first time we had an inductee try and talk themselves out of the Hall of Fame. Jumping as quickly as possible back into baseball, our next honoree is a former Biloxi Dodger pitcher and a respected softball umpire for more than 40 years. Please welcome into the Hall of Fame, Mr. Roger Smith.
Y'all really want me to follow him, huh? Thank you. I would like to thank the City of Biloxi, Mayor Fofo Gillis, Sherry Bell, and the selection committee. First question I have to have, are there any Bayou Augusta people in here? All right. My journey started as a 3-pound baby on Railroad Street. My mother, Clara, Aunt Minnie, and my grandmother, Maddie, didn't give up on me. As a Boy Scout in Troop 214, I didn't have a uniform or equipment all the others had. Dr. Gilbert Mason, Reverend James Black didn't give up on me. In baseball, Lionel Antwine, Freddie Wright, Mr. Roselle, Coach Dilworth, Coach Wenham, and the Biloxi Dodgers. As one of the few high school players that didn't have a team to play on, the Biloxi Dodgers didn't give up on me. In the Navy, my Biloxi family, the Ingrams of North Carolina, and my church, New Bethel Missionary Baptist Church, didn't give up on me. Nichols class of 1968, 51 years graduated and counting. Johnny Brown and my class didn't give up on me. As longtime friends, Beaver Gines, Lauren Ratcliffe, Lil Mike, my road buddy Charles Matthews, didn't give up on me. As an umpire of 40 years, I worked with hundreds of umpires, league presidents, ASA softball representatives, Mississippi Gulf Coast High School Association, developed close friends with Butch Newkirk, Richard Thurman, Willie Callahan, Kenny Farley, Bruce Wilson, Chris McGee, dozens of league presidents, and 1,000 of ball players or kids that played ball in the Biloxi youth system. Didn't give up on me. Special thanks to Tom Stanley, Calvin Owens. What started at softball became especially close friends. Unfortunately, Coach Allen Martin isn't able to be here with us. Being able to meet and greet his family has been a pleasure, one of the pleasures in my life. As a shipyard worker, Shorty Couch, A.T. Jones, and all my machinists of Local 1133 didn't give up on me. My family, LaQuasha, Paulette, Kay Francis, Linda, Rosie, Melanie, Leslie, the Smith, the Portmans, the Posies, and the Gines, they didn't give up on me. I wish I could share this moment with my mother. She worked days and nights to give a 3-pound baby a chance in life and make something of itself. To the City of Biloxi, Nichols High School, the Biloxi Dodgers, USA Softball, thanks for giving me a chance. Thanks for not giving up on me. God, who I give him credit for everything I am and will be, didn't give up on me. Thank you very much.
Our final posthumous honoree tonight was another standout amateur boxer and coach for the Biloxi Boxing Club. Accepting for David Ward Sr. is his son, David Ward Jr.
Scoot on over. That way. Get a picture.
It's a great honor to be here tonight with all these inductees and all the past history that goes along with it. And I had a speech written up here, but I don't think it can compare to some of these people. But I guess where I can start is how we found out about my dad's boxing career. It was me and my brother and my sister that grew up with my dad and mom in Biloxi, Mississippi here on Graham Avenue. And about the time I guess we could talk, we noticed there was a trophy case full of trophies. And it was my dad's trophies. And I guess that's how we found out about it. Because he had done this, and I think his boxing career was in the 1950s. And so we learned about it. And believe it or not, we learned more about his personal, gains in his career by just his friends, Navy friends, and just different people. He never bragged on himself. He was one of those kind of guys. I mean, he would brag on everybody but himself. Now, some of his accomplishments in the 1960s, he had 28 overall team titles and 20 Mississippi Golden Gloves, AAU championships as a coach. He coached the Biloxi Boxing Club, and that was in the 1960s, 1962 through 1969. And then, after he had started his coaching, the Biloxi Boxing Club, us kids were getting older. And as we got older, we started getting involved in sports. So we weren't interested in the boxing. We did football, basketball, baseball. And so his interest in boxing started diminishing because he was wanting to volunteer and help in our activities. And he eventually started coaching baseball in the Pony League and Little League. And I'm telling you, he was something. He was a community guy. He in the neighborhood, like if we had practice or anything, he would go and round up all the kids in the neighborhood to bring them to practice, whether they were on our team or another team, didn't matter. And I really do. I tell you, he was one great guy. I can't explain to you what he meant to us. And my brother and our family over there is what we're here as all in one to represent him. And I tell you, I'm just proud to be here. And I guess that's all I got.
Rounding out our boxing honorees tonight with an amateur record of 158 wins and 30 losses, a 5-time Golden Gloves champion, Mr. Paul Webster.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Okay, let me begin by saying how honored I am and humbled I am to be here tonight being inducted into the Biloxi Sports Hall of Fame. This is certainly the most privileged honor I've ever received, and I feel privileged to be here to be included along with all the other fine inductees. I would not be here today if it were not for my father, Doyle Webster. He devoted so much time and effort in shaping the sport of boxing in Biloxi and mentoring so many young men along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. My dad was very passionate about the sport of boxing, more so than I was. And I guess it was because he never had to take any punches. He was a coach. But anyway, he helped me to identify my weaknesses and shortcomings and turn them into strengths in the boxing ring. He taught me sportsmanship, fair play, and many other values that helped me in the ring, but also throughout my life. For this, I'll always be grateful to him for the time he invested in me. And this one's for you, Dad. If you want to stand up, have him stand up. And there's too many people to mention that helped me along the way. But again, I want to thank the Biloxi Sports Hall of Fame Committee for this honor. Thank you.
Our next inductee was one of Biloxi High's greatest football coaches. His record is as impressive as any coach before and after him. He won a state championship at Biloxi High. He won a Division II championship at Mississippi College. Please join me in welcoming into the Biloxi Sports Hall of Fame, John Williams.
Well, that's a hard act to follow. Am I on the end? Or you got another?
No, we got one more.
Oh, gosh. Excuse me. Someone told me, in fact, this little lady here told me that I was just a shoe-in. I really, really got in there real easy. And I found out that Mike Wallace and Phil Lang, they kind of greased some palms. That always works. Thanks, God. Thanks, guys. And I asked several people, I said, what part did Big Al play? They said, nothing. I said, nothing? You mean he didn't help at all? No, you got in spite of him. So anyway, I want to say thank you, Fofo, and the committee for selected me to get in here, and congratulations to all the others that have gotten in it. I've been to, I believe this is my 5th one. First one, Fofo, I've ever been that was free. I'm telling you, Biloxi knows how to do things. I'll just tell you that right now, buddy. And good and wonderful crowd and all of that. I want to tell you that I came here in the 60s. And football was just king. Biloxi is a wonderful town, but football was just king. And I came back in the 90s, and we've struggled just to win half of our ball games. Just really worked hard to do it. So I asked Al, Big Al, y'all know who I'm talking about. Gerald played for me, but Al would always come into the dressing room and he'd be looking around and everything. And then he played for me at Mississippi College, and then he coached with me. I said, Al, what was the difference in the 60s when we were winning so much and the 90s when I came back? What was the difference? He said, John, you know what was wrong. I said, no, I don't. He said, it was the coaching staff. I said, what? He said, it was the coaching staff. Said, you don't think that Killer and Joe Brown were really coaches? I said, what? He said, they were just tokens. Said, Rodney Schultze and I just worked our tails off, but we weren't good enough to offset those two. So anyway, I want to tell you, since I'm talking about the brothers just a little bit, in case y'all don't know it, Carol and I adopted Lorenzo Diamond, who went and played for Auburn and played for Arizona Cardinals and Miami Dolphins and so forth like that. So anyway, I was going to tell you that I had 2 occasions. I hired Jackie Laird. Boy, that was the worst mistake I ever made in my life. But we did have another guy named Johnny Gilliam. And those 2 people got mixed up. Jackie thought he was a brother, and Johnny Gilliam thought he was a white guy. So I'll promise you, I had rather have Jackie Laird go down Division Street at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock on Saturday night than 2 policemen any time, because wasn't nobody going to bother you if you had Jackie Laird going down Division Street up in the middle of the night. So anyway, I want to tell you that Mike, since I mentioned Mike Wallace, he was quarterback my last year here before I went to college to coach, and then he went on and played. And his older brother was a starting quarterback in '64 when I first came. I can't help but mention that Prof. Carpenter and the Indian band, and 150 seats across the seats where they couldn't even get in the stands, and 12 or 1,500 students in there, and old Prof playing the elephant walk. If you couldn't get ready to play football then, Paul, just wasn't no way to get ready to play football. You just didn't have it in you. So then, Badre didn't do too awful bad, but anyway, we had, I just can't be reminisced without mentioning Yankee Bohanovich. He was, I guess he was the greatest ambassador for Biloxi that I ever knew. He loved Biloxi High School, and he especially loved Biloxi football. And he had just got through building that Miss Hospitality, and he'd take the coaches out. And I meant for a whole weekend. We'd go way out there and catch more than just one red snapper back in those days, and groupers and so forth like that. But that was wonderful. I'm telling you, Biloxi, coaching in Biloxi then was just a joy, enthusiastic. I mean, wonderful. Then I couldn't help but mention Jerry Ellis. He took an old shrimp boat and made it into a houseboat, and he would take all the coaches out fishing. Now, for a country redneck guy from up in Claiborne County, y'all just don't know what that meant, fellas. Y'all, if you live down here among it, you understand. But it was just like heaven to be in something like that. But I remember I walked on that boat, of Jerry Ellis's boat, and Miss Kovacevic had made the best smelling thing I'd ever smelled in my life. I walk in there, and it was crab meat quiche. I'm telling you, my first one I ever ate, and I'll always remember it from then on, as far as that's concerned. I want to introduce my family. I have Carol with me and her son, Michael Collins. I have my daughter who went 8 years here to Biloxi, Pops Ferry and on, and my beautiful granddaughter, my favorite in the world, sitting there. And I thought Al and Rachel and Sylvia were going to sit there with us, but they didn't. They got kind of left out and so forth. But I want to tell these people that live in Biloxi, that have lived here for years, y'all got a special place. I coached 41 years, and this is probably the most enjoyable 14 years I ever had. Then I left and went to college. Somebody said to me, says, "John, do you think you're going to have any success in college?" And I said, well, they tell me that recruiting is a big thing about having success in college. And so I got to thinking, I said, you know, if I can talk Arthur Cantrell, the most valuable player in Louisiana, into coming over here to Biloxi and playing and being the most valuable player in Mississippi, I might have a chance. So anyway, I did and went and had some chance. But I do thank you so much. I want to congratulate all those people that received this. I want you to know that this happens to be my 5th one, and not bragging, but I'm just as proud of this one as any one that I've ever gotten. Thank you very much.
Sieber, we made it. Our final inductee of the night comes from a great family, as most all of our inductees do. His parents were nominated and inducted into the Hall of Fame a few years ago. And tonight, he's following in their footsteps. Former basketball standout with Biloxi High, helped them to 2 state championships. He's doing a great job coaching the basketball team there now. Sieber Windham.
I thank you for being here. In Psalm 107, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endure forever. I want to thank the city of Biloxi. Biloxi is a great place. I want to thank my mother, my father, my wife, my brother, Stevie Madden. I've got teammates here, high school teammates. I've got college teammates here. I've got some of my coaching staff here, Coach Michael Reese, Scott Landry, Jeremiah Dunnings. Thankful for them to be here. I've got my church here, First Missionary Baptist, always behind me. the biggest thing that I want to say to you guys is that this is a beautiful night because I get a chance to go into the Hall of Fame with my mother and father, Shirley Wyndham, being here, which is in the same Hall of Fame that I'm in. That's really special to me. I have so many other people to thank, but I hope I don't forget anybody. But first of all, I want to thank Coach Jackie Laird. I know he's been mentioned. Coach Laird, to me, is the best high school coach that's ever coached in the state of Mississippi. I want to say thank you, Coach Laird, and I love you. Another coach I want to thank is Coach John Pugh. Coach John Pugh got me started in coaching. He's seen something in me, and I'm really thankful for John Pugh to give me an opportunity to come on his staff and coach. Somebody else I want to thank Coach Steve Knight, Coach Bobby Halford, who are two coaches at William Carey who gave me an opportunity to play collegiate basketball and collegiate baseball. So more people I want to thank. I want to thank some of my teammates. I always wanted to bring my teammates in this Hall of Fame with me. One of my teammates, his name is Jarrell Nunley. Jarrell Nunley is one of the best athletes that I've ever seen come through Biloxi, and I think one day he'll be standing up here at this podium also. Jarrell always taught me to never back down from no competition and always fight as hard as you can. I have another teammate here. His name is James McCarthy. James McCarthy is one of the best point guards come through Biloxi. James McCarthy always told me when Coach Larry gives you that ball, you become the best point guard in the state of Mississippi. I have another teammate who I played college baseball and at Biloxi High School. His name is Cornelius Cheese White. Cornelius Cheese White always told me whenever we're in battle, we're always fighting, we're always going against the other team, to always smile and enjoy yourself. I want to thank two coaches with my baseball coaches in high school and my little league coach, Coach Jay, Captain Trosset. Coach Trosset, I want to thank you for being with me all the time. I want to thank Coach Chuck Butler, my high school coach. Those two coaches always taught me when you step into the batter's box, you always give the pitcher hell. I want to really thank the two most important people in my life, Shirley Wyndham and William Wyndham. They give me so much inspiration. They taught me three things in life. Respect is earned, it's not given. Number two, they taught me if you put God first in your life, that you will always be blessed. Number three, they taught me when you are in athletics or you're in sports, if you give 110%, you play as hard as you can, one day athletics will come back and bless you. And it has done that today by me being inducted to the Biloxi Hall of Fame. As you know as well as I know, this is a special city. This is a special place. Biloxi is home. I love this community. I love the people here. I want to thank you for embracing me on the field. I want to thank you for embracing me as your coach of Biloxi High School. And I want to thank you for embracing my family, the Wyndham family, in the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
So thank you again for being here tonight. Thank you for your contributions to the Biloxi Sports Hall of Fame.